We begin in Dallas, where the 4-2 Mavericks hosted the 4-2 Heat, who carried a 6-game winning streak against the Mavs into American Airlines Center, which is where we take you now for the highlights. There's Dirk Nowitzki, came in needing 34 points to pass Hakeem Olajuwon into 9th place, and Dirk off to a good start, the early layup, and then he hits a 3. He would have 16 points in the first half, getting us excited, but just 1 point after halftime.
Oh, well, it's going to happen eventually. But over to the Heat side, Luol Deng came to play tonight.
Yes, he did. He had 11 points in the first quarter.
Excellent ball work there, finding the corner 3. Luol Deng, a little bit of a throwback game. Dallas defense nowhere to be found. Lots of zone for Dallas tonight, and Miami did a great job as McRoberts found a seam of them moving the basketball around.
Chris Bosh, the Dallas native, 20, 10, and 5. Miami shot 60% in the first half and led by 11 at the break. Monte Ellis trying to get Dallas back in it.
Always a threat from behind the arc.
14 of his 23 points came in the third quarter. Monte's going to miss this one, but Tyson Chandler is their big game. 16 and 15 and Bones 10 offensive rebounds.
Great activity from Tyson Chandler. You know he's going to find himself around the rim to try to make something happen. But again, Dallas struggling in the third quarter. Chalmers knocks down the 3 over Parsons and outscored by 5 points. This has been a bugaboo for Dallas as they've started the year.
Chalmers had 18 off the bench. D. Wade had 20 points, 10 assists. He won the 2006 Finals MVP award, helping the Heat win the championship against the Mavericks. Luol Deng for 3. The lead was 14. Deng again for 3. The lead swells to 21.
It was a Deng night. Complimenting Bosh and Dwayne Wade, giving you the new big 3.
Mario Chalmers, the steal and the slam, and Bones, that's a wrap.
He played a great game off the bench. Chalmers in 34 minutes was 6 of 9. He had 18 points, great activity. And Miami, I'll tell you what, they dominated this game from tip-off till finish. Up 11 at the end of the first quarter, or up 9 at the end of the first quarter, took it to them.
And the Heat has now won 7 straight against the Mavs since losing Game 6 of the 2011 Finals. Miami's 5-2. Dallas falls to 4-3. And perhaps Dirk passes Hakeem Tuesday night at home against Sacramento. He will need 17 points in that game to do so. We'll be covering it right here on NBA TV as part of our Fan Night coverage. So talk to me about what this win says about the Miami Heat to go into Dallas against a good Maverick team, a Maverick team that thinks they're going to do big things this year, and Miami dominated. What does that say about the Heat?
Well, right now that they're playing at a level that we were hoping to see them play at some point in the season, they're starting to find that chemistry and the rhythm with the new additions. You saw Luol Deng tonight have a huge game. Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, the 1-2 punch is still anchoring down the foundation of this team. And as they bring, to this point, as they bring Luol Deng into this new mix, if he plays like this, there won't be a big fall off.
No, and I think this is one of those games that Deng really needed for his confidence to get going. And it's not so much on the offensive end where he did tons of damage getting that 30 points. He also held Chandler Parsons to 1 of 9 shooting. And so he was doing it like Luol Deng is known to do on both ends of the floor. You got to remember, Miami has played their 3rd back-to-back in 9 days. Dwayne Wade has participated in all 3 of those. Last year, he only played in 3 back-to-backs for the entire season. So to have him out there, be productive with his 10 assists, Bosh doing his damage, and then Deng opening himself up on the perimeter and knocking down some jump shots. This is a good sign of this team realizing exactly who they are this year and not trying to be anything more than that. Walked into Dallas, walked them down, and they walk out with a victory.
Luol Deng, 13 of 19 from the field. Chris Bosh, 7 of 10 from the field. Miami shot over 55% in this one. And Rick, Chris Bosh now has 7 straight 20-plus point games to begin this season.
Well, it shouldn't surprise any of us. This is the Chris Bosh we all fell in love with up in Toronto, but now he, with a few rings, has proven that with that #1 responsibility of being the go-to guy that sets the table night in and night out for them, that they can count on down on the block, in pick and roll, stretching the floor. He's still doing all of those things he did the last few years as a champion, but he's just taking more of the responsibility on, and he welcomes it.
To me, Rick, you got to appreciate, or at least I do, I appreciate Chris Bosh even more for sacrificing this much of his game. We all knew as players and players who played against Chris Bosh what he's capable of doing, but for him to sacrifice what that was for the time that LeBron James was in Miami. Now he's getting back to some of the things we're used to him doing, and he's playing with a tremendous amount of confidence, and he's an impossible matchup. If he's playing the 5 spot, there's nobody in the West that wants to play Chris Bosh who can match up with you, play at the 3-point line, and also take you down around the block and get you in the mid-range.
Rick, you mentioned the Toronto days. The last time Chris Bosh had a run like this was his last year in Toronto when he had 8 straight games with 20 or more points.